And I'm going to share my screen as per usual. Okay. So we're going to talk about text messaging. Why is this not working? It's going to be one of those days today.
Thanks, dude.
There we go. All right. Can you guys see my screen okay? All right.
I'm gonna text it to you, see if this works.
All right. If you guys can put yourselves on mute just because we're recording this call, that would be great. Keith, I did send you the link so you have it. It's in your text so you can forward it to everybody else. All right. So we're going to be talking about texting and mastering the initial lead response and follow up via text. Okay, so first things first, let's take a little look at February. We're in the last week. This week has gone by super fast. And we're already in the last week of February. It feels like just, yesterday we were talking about the beginning of the month. So you've got a week to make it happen, basically Monday through Friday, because guess what? Saturday is March. So if you've got a little bit of catching up to do, now's the time to do it. Try and get some of those appointments and finish out the month strong. All right. So February, if you didn't know, I put in a whole bunch of subject lines for February. Don't forget to add your customers' names and vehicle of interest. So these are the ones. All right, guys, if you can put yourselves on mute, that would be good. Don't forget to add your customer's name, like I said. But I've basically every month I'm going to do something. So be on the lookout for the ones for March. We'll probably have a little bit of a March Madness theme and something else in there where you can copy and paste and just kind of stand out from your competition, because your competition is not changing subject lines every single month. They're pretty much using the stock standard ones every single month. So make sure you go into the portal and use those. You can copy and paste them, put them on a Word document or something like that, and use them in your email responses to customers. All right. So for anyone that's missed the past couple of sessions that we've had, again, I just wanted to make sure if you are using Costco, if you're using like a KBB ICO or something like that, there are templates in there and TrueCar templates in there that you guys can use. Again, just go in there, copy and paste, kind of customize it a little bit more to you or your dealership style. But again, it's just something that seems to be working for the dealerships that are using it. So make sure that you go in and take a look at those. All right. So the quote to begin is, a sale is not something you pursue. It's what happens to you while you are immersed in serving your customer. So again, we always talk about that intention. We talk about focusing on the customer, what their needs are, what problem can we solve for them. And it is something that should organically and naturally happen when we're really immersed and focusing on coming from a place of service when it comes to our client. Okay, so the agenda is going to be why texting matters in today's market, best practices for initial lead texts, effective follow-up texting techniques, dialogue and examples, and obviously do's and don'ts. All right, so why texting matters. I mean, as we all know, a lot of the time people don't listen to their voicemails, they don't check their emails, but chances are most people have read every single text message in their inbox, at least within, a few hours. So it probably is one of the most effective tools that we have in order to connect with our customers. So it really is a source of immediate communication. There's an instant connection with our customers, and there's higher response rates compared to emails and calls. It's for the customer's convenience because it meets customers where they are, especially if they're texting and they like texting on their phones. It's ideal for quick updates and scheduling. And there's a way that you can build trust, right? So personalized, casual, friendly communication reinforces your professionalism and responsiveness. Oops. Okay. So, guys, if you can put yourselves on mute, that would be great. Thank you.
What's up? What? Huh?
Sorry, I'm just going to go in and mute everybody because we're not muting ourselves. Okay. All right. So, best practices for initial lead text. We want to have prompt response. So we aim to reply within mutes to capitalize on interest. Personalization, we want to use the lead's name and reference to their inquiry. Again, that's just the stock standard basics, same with email. We want it to be clear and concise, right? We don't want to be like, over explanatory. So we want to provide essential information without overwhelming the customer. And just like in our emails, we want a very clear call to action to encourage next steps. So what is it we want to happen? Do we want to schedule a call or obviously visit the dealership? Okay. So example templates, and I'm going to copy and paste these so that you guys have them. Again, they're going to be in the portal. So, feel free to copy and paste them, put them in a Word document and use them. But if you want a direct and engaging text, again, very short, hi, customer name, mention their vehicle of interest and the dealership. And then are you looking for anything specific or would you like to come by and check it out in person? If you want to be availability and appointment focused, again, same kind of thing. It's currently available, so you want to address the availability, and I'd love to help you with the next steps. When would be a good time for you to stop by and see it? Again, we're not using that test drive verbiage because a lot of the time, test drive brings up buyer resistance, and everybody's saying the same thing. So we kind of want that same result, but we're going to go about it a little bit differently. And then again, if you want it to be personal and service orientated, we can obviously mention their name. I appreciate your interest in. I'd love to assist you in finding the perfect fit. Do you have any specific preferences or questions I can help you with? Now, again, if they've asked you a question, don't ask them if there are any questions because I see that a lot in mystery shops. They're not reading the lead and they're asking me if I have any questions, and I've already asked a question that they haven't answered. So if you want to create urgency and inventory focused, again, this is what you would say. You'd let them know the vehicle is available, but they go quickly, especially if it's, say, a Toyota Sienna or something like that. Those things do not stick around too long. So we want to make sure that we're letting the customer know and create some urgency. And then obviously invite them into your dealership and then test drive without saying test drive. I see you're interested in, great choice. I'd love to help you experience it firsthand. When would be a good time for you to stop by and take a closer look or experience that vehicle in person, however it is you want to talk about it. All right. So again, here's some more examples. You want to have, key points. You want to greet the customer by name, obviously introduce yourself to the dealership and ask an open-ended question because you want to engage with the customer and you want a two-way engagement, not just one way like texting and emailing and getting no response. So when we're following up, we want to have obviously timely follow-up. Now, our CRMs do tell us, when we should follow up, especially what days. But again, if there's no initial response, we want to kind of try again within a few hours or at the very latest the next day. Again, I'm not here to, tell you how to do it in the sense of what your dealership's protocol is, like whatever that protocol is, I want you guys to stick to it. But I also want you to trust your intuition. If there's something telling you that you should reach out again, then by all means do that. It can't hurt, right? We want to make sure that we have value-driven messages. So we want to share helpful information like promotions or new arrivals. We want to be friendly and helpful. Avoid sounding too pushy or focus assisting on the lead. Just anything you can do to help them fill that void or gap or solve that problem that they have. And you want to have multiple touch points. So vary your approach. Yes, we're talking about text, but also call, email as needed, but also ask the customer. I would always ask them, which is their preferred method of communication. Because again, it shows them that you're focused on them. Whatever they're comfortable with, whatever they want, you're there just to provide a service. All right. So key points is we want to reference previous conversations that we've had. So we want to make sure, it's only going to take you guys probably 20 seconds just to scroll through if you've had previous dialogue so you can really pick up where you left off. You want to offer additional value or a next step and keep the tone helpful and not pushy. So again, there's a whole bunch here. I'm not going to read through every single one. I'm going to copy and paste them and put them in the actual portal so you can copy and paste them and use them. So text examples when a customer asks a question. So again, if they've asked a question, you obviously want to acknowledge that question. So thanks for your question about, to clarify, and then just answer the question. Would you like more details or to see it in person? So again, we want to address the fact that they've asked a question and that you're going to answer it, and then ask them, is that what you're looking for? Would you like, added information? Or better still, would you like to see it in person or experience it in person? That's the word that I generally like to use. It's all about the experience. Another one is, I appreciate you reaching out with your question. Yes, or no. I'd be happy to explain further. Can I send you more information or schedule a call to discuss? Or you could say, great question about the vehicle of interest. It comes with, and then go ahead, which really enhances your driving experience. Let me know if you'd like to discuss further. So again, it's all about coming from a place of service, but keeping it very short and sweet. They're not going to read lengthy text messages. We just kind of want to get to the nitty gritty and then put in some kind of a call to action or a question that they can obviously engage and answer. So again, here's some more. I put so many examples in here, but again, I'm going to copy and paste them so that you can choose whichever ones like basically are going to suit, how you sound and basically your dealership's culture. So there's 10 of them in there. So you have all 10 and then follow-up ones. So again, when you're following up, you can use the word follow up. You can use the word checking in, whichever, again, suits you. For me, I would use something like just a quick note regarding what they were looking for. I've received some great feedback from recent buyers, want to hear more. So again, you're just trying to pique their interest. Like, what am I missing out on? Other people are saying good things. I wanted to touch base. That's another thing you could say rather than following up or checking in. If you're curious about additional features or special pricing, I'm here to help. Let me know what works for you. Again, if there's something about financing, if there's a lease special, if you've just gotten a truck of inventory in, a lot of the time, something I used to do a lot of the time, and that was especially with texting, is I would take a video when we got a new truck of inventory in. If I knew that customer was, looking at a specific vehicle and I knew that vehicle was on that truck, I would go out there, I'd find out when the truck was coming, and I would take a video of it coming off the truck, and I'd kind of just playfully text them and say, your new car has arrived, do you want to come in and take a look at it or experience it in person? And it just kind of adds like that little bit of extra personalization to it. So again, 10 examples that you can copy and paste and use. Especially, maybe they haven't had a chance to review what you sent. So you want to ask them to see if you've done that, if they've done that. If not, do they have anything else? If you have customer testimonials, you can do that. I know there's a guy, he works at a Toyota dealership in San Diego. I won't say which one, but he uses Yelp. And what he does is whenever he sells a vehicle on delivery, he has them fill out his own personal Yelp review page. He then goes ahead and shares that link in his texting to clients. And he gets a lot of people coming in and just asking for him just based on his Yelp reviews. So again, it's just a way to kind of separate yourself and something else that you can include in your dialogue that will separate you from everybody else, because there's not too many people out there sharing reviews and just saying, hey, do you want to hear what my clients have said about me? Here you go and take a look. And as we know, Yelp, is kind of a very honest platform. You get some really good reviews and you get some really bad ones too, and there's not much you can do about them. So when you're on a platform like that and you're delivering high quality service, go ahead and share it in the texting. And again, it's very direct. It'll be a link that the customer can just click and let them see why they should do business with you. All right. So a few more examples for when customers ask questions. We can have a feature-specific response. So great question about the model. Would you like me to send a quick video explaining it further? So some of you have, started using video or have been using video. It's a good way to actually do that, right? So you want to put it in a feature-specific response in a video and answer the question. And again, as I've mentioned, 50% of our brain is geared towards vision. So when you send a video, you are hitting that portion of the brain, first of all. But secondly, not only can they see you, they can hear you. So you're touching two very, very important senses. So as a comparison response, you can go ahead and do a side by side. We all have Engage if you're a Toyota dealership or something similar to that, where you can literally send a link and do the side by side comparison if they're looking at two different models or two very different products even. Availability and options response. Obviously, we want to make sure that we address the availability, and maybe they're looking at different options and trying to find out what might, suit them best. And then and incentive responses. Okay. If there are any special offers or lease specials, you want to connect with them and find out if that's what's important to them. So again, that's something that you can go ahead and include. If you have digital retailing, you can include a link that leads through, if you're Toyota, it's SmartPath or one of the other ones. So you can then go ahead and put that link through there and let them drive the experience themselves. Oops. Okay. So we want to keep it brief and we want to aim for 1 to 2 short sentences per text, maybe a little longer if you're answering a question, but we want to make sure that we keep it brief because they're not going to want to scroll through paragraphs of stuff, okay? If you want to, send more information, I would go ahead and just say, hey, if you don't mind, I'm going to send you an email with a lot more information and let them know that there's something waiting for them in their inbox. We want to stay professional, use proper grammar, punctuation, and avoid using any slang. Be consistent, maintain a friendly and helpful tone in every message, and respect timing. So we want to avoid texting too early or too late. I would really adhere to the California rule, which I think is not before 9 or in the morning and after 9 at night. I think it's something like that with regards to calling. So whatever that rule is, I would be sticking to that with regards to texting because it's kind of the same thing. All right, so do's and don'ts. We want to respond quickly and personalize each message. We want to have a clear call to action and helpful details and follow up consistently without being intrusive. What we don't want to do is use all caps. Hang on, I am going to, let's see. Who is talking? Here we go. All right. So, all right. We don't want to use all caps because that comes across as being kind of aggressive. And we don't want to use overly formal language. Remember, texting is a very casual and a way to connect with somebody. We don't want to spam leads with multiple texts in a short period of time. And we don't want to be over salesy, focus on building the relationship. So again, we always want to think about what do we want the end goal to be and how can I solve their problem? And when you focus on those two things, you're going to make sure that you do connect with them. It's not just a matter of just sending out texts and hoping, like throwing enough mud that something's going to stick eventually. We just want to make sure that we are truly focusing and being intentional on what we're saying and doing, especially in texting. So, in conclusion, we want prompt, personalized, and value-driven texts that make all the difference. We want effective initial and follow-up messages to build trust and to drive engagement. Remember, we always want to have two-way communication with our customers. I know there's probably a ton of leads that are sitting in our CRM right now, and they're not communicating with us. They're not answering our emails. They're not answering our texts. They're not returning our phone calls. I really would advise you guys to really sit back and take a look at what we're saying. And are we really trying to solve that customer's problem, or are we just checking a box? And when we really start looking at it from the customer focus and through their lens, start engaging with them in that respect. We want to start implementing these texting techniques and monitor your response rates. So again, start using some of those templates and see if you're going to get a little bit more response. And final thought, in our industry, every text is a chance to steer the conversation towards a sale. Remember, people are more responsive to text, but there has to be a purpose behind it, right? And a reason for them to communicate. And we have to really start asking better questions and being more aware of how the customer truly does want to communicate with us. So last but not least, I'm going to say it is not the employer who pays the wages. Employers only handle the money. It's the customer who pays the wages, and that's Henry Ford. So again, it's the customer who pays for our very existence day in and day out. So again, I want you to be very, very customer centric, and especially with texting, keep it very short and sweet, keep it personable, ask some really good questions, and I promise you, you guys will get a lot more engagement than what you're already getting. So with that, I will ask if there are any questions. If not, I'm going to upload everything into the portal today or later today. So feel free to go in and copy and paste and save it wherever you need to save it. Any questions about anything I've said? You might have to take yourselves off mute because I put you guys all on mute. No? Okay. Well, I hope you guys have a great end of month, and I'll see you all next week at 1 p.m. Have a great week.